One of the biggest updates of Dead by Daylight, patch 6.1, has been out for give or take a week. Now, as normal, it has taken a few days for players to get used to this patch and to form new builds and metas. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what's good, bad, and what needs to be changed about this patch. But before I get started, hello, welcome in or welcome back. My name is Sharon and I am a legacy-free Nia main with nearly 9,000 hours in Dead by Daylight. I primarily stream DBD on twitch.tv/Sharon and I upload consistently on this YouTube channel with a lot of different DBD content. I hope you enjoy your stay and let's get started with the video. To make it easier on ourselves, I will be splitting up this video in 3 parts. 1. A quick summary of the patch, 2. The good and bad things about the patch, and 3. What they should look into improving. Let's get started with summarizing. The patch 6.1 brought in a lot of different things. The prestige and progression update, the meta perks nerfs such as pop and dead hard, the quicker actions by killers such as breaking a pallet, the less distance you gain when being hit by the killer, 10 seconds added to the generators, the basketball time edition, and some perks being buffed like overcharge, Fana off the record, and last the bloodlust buff. Now for the good parts of this patch. Subjectively, I don't like the prestige or progression update, cause it got rid of my grind as a veteran player. But it's overall been a successful change as most players in DBD are more casual and don't have much time to grind the game consistently. The meta perk nerfs were amazing. We were in the same meta for years where we would see a consistent uses of the same perks. That was overpowering the survival rate, and a combination of Pain Resonance, Pop Goes the Weasel and Deadman Switch was ruining the overall enjoyment out of Survivor games. Perks were never intended to completely make or break the game, so perks like that were not healthy for the game state. Them adding 10 seconds on each generator was a smart call by bhvr, especially after nerfing the anti-gen perks, and it will be an overall good addition to slow down the game for killers and give them more time to do their thing. Them speeding up killer actions was also a smart call, making it so killers waste less time and have more time for their objective. I also have not noticed that it makes a game-breaking difference, unless paired with perks like Fire Up or Save the Best for Last. And the basketball time, whilst not perfect, was a good call by bhvr to counter the tunneling that's been going on in this game. And now we're getting into the subject of tunneling, let's move on to the bad parts of this update. First up, a few mistakes they made with perks. Whilst the original change and nerf to dead hard was good, the second nerf to dead hard, making it go from 1 second to 0.5 seconds, was unnecessary. With latency in the game and different killer animations and hitboxes, I just don't think it was really needed to make the perk as precise as possible, giving little to no flexibility to survivors. The Iron Will nerf was super overkill. Iron Will went from a super good common use perk to nobody using it anymore. I don't know why the Death Father was smart to make it not work when exhausted, as you need Iron Will demos when you are exhausted. The DS stun reduction makes 0 sense. The devs acknowledged that the tunneling was an issue in the game, yet they nerfed a perk that helped against that, making it easier for killers to, well, tunnel. The buffs towards Fana, Jolt, Overcharge, etc. also make 0 sense. The devs acknowledged that the game was being annoying with all the anti-gen perks and wanted to clean it up, but then they buffed anti-gen perks again, which I'm still not sure as to why. We're still dealing with an anti-gen perk meta, just now with different perks, so I'm not really sure what the logic was behind their decision to buff those perks. Survivors gaining less distance was overkill, especially for killers who already are dominating at the game, such as Nurse and Blight. They now have it even easier to catch up with the survivors. And lastly, Bloodlust. After changing a lot of maps, and yes, I'm aware not every map is ideal, making killers catch up quicker, making survivors not have dead hard, and more time that the killers have due to the gens taking longer, the Bloodlust update was less than logical, especially considering Bloodlust is a skillless mechanic that rewards killers for playing bad. Now onto the most important part of this video. What does Dead by Daylight still have to do to balance this game? Whilst I think the patch was decently good, I am disappointed on how killer-sided this patch was. Killers basically got everything addressed that they were complaining about. Meta survivor perks, the gen speed, the time that they were wasting on things, and the length of the chases. Which is all fine and well. I am not against killers having a better experience. In fact, I've been promoting them to do things like this for a while. But the patch on the survivor end? Well, we got nothing out of this patch. The main complaints as a survivor is the vastly different experience between solo queue and survivor friends, being tunneled and camped so much, having to deal with an unbalance of strong and weak killers, and the anti-gen perk combinations. Yet we've seen no nerfs to strong killers, no real changes to solo queue and survivor friends. We're still in an anti-gen perk meta because of the other gen perk buffs, and tunneling and camping is due to this patch even more efficient than it already was, because of the nerf to decisive strike, catching survivors quicker, and having more time to waste around the hook because of the increased generator speed. And this is why behavior has to look into the things that I will be mentioning next, and work towards survivor updates if they want to continue balancing this game. They have to start countering tunneling and camping, and for that they should re-add the DS stun timer, add more seconds onto the base kit BT, and make a mechanic that if the killer is around the hook in a certain range, and there's no survivor in that range, that the hook stay takes much longer to decrease. This will make it so if the killer chooses to camp, which is fine, that's their right and their playstyle, but it will be punished, as it should be. You're ruining someone's gaming experience and not letting them play the game. And the fact that nowadays killers win entire games of that strat is severely disappointing and upsetting. With the mechanic implemented, killers will still be allowed to play that way, since behavior doesn't want to dictate playstyles, but it will punish them and makes them lose the game, as it should be in my opinion. Now I will say that this mechanic should probably be turned off after like 2 generators are left, because in my view camping around that time makes complete sense and I wouldn't want to punish killers for that. Secondly, they need to buff solo queue. How? A good start would be adding Kindred as base kit. I don't know if you know much about Kindred, but I have done a video about it, so go check it out, I will link it on the top. Kindred provides information that you already have when you're in a survivor friends, so adding it as a base kit would not break the game. Yet it would provide such a quality of life for survivors. Secondly, they should add a mechanic that shows what survivors are doing at every second of the game, though they are already planning to do that, so nothing much to say about that. Aiming to buff solo queue will allow you to close the gap between solo queue and survivor friends, which will allow the devs to look at statistics of survivors a little bit easier and will make it a lot more balanced when nerfing or buffing certain parts about survivor gameplay. This not only benefits survivors from being treated more fairly, but also killers that don't have to deal with unbalanced stuff anymore, cause the devs can't nerf something that will weaken solo queue. Adding these 2 changes into the game, I will predict will already improve the quality of games for survivors. And I do urge behavior to still look into the power differences of each killer. The only thing that's making it hard to buff killers in general, or makes it an imbalanced choice, is because you have such a difference in strength of each killer. If they were to nerf the strong killers like, I don't know, Nurse maybe, and bring her down, and others as well, to a more acceptable level, this will allow behavior to also look at the statistics of killers better and make changes more fairly. And lastly, I do really think behavior should be quicker with nerfing certain build combinations. Every time either side comes up with a really strong perk combination, it takes them months to fix it, making us go through months of pain against those builds. For example, right now the Plague and Legion are consistently being popped up with their use of Fana, Overcharge and Pain Resonance, making it an insane and fun experience where most survivors just race quit because they don't want to deal with a 30-minute match. I personally think if behavior were to address all these points, the game would be in a much better state for both killers and survivors, and allows the game to perhaps heal from the damage it's been having for the last few years. And that's all I got for this video. I'm sure some of you guys will agree with me and some will disagree. I'm more than happy to have a discussion with you down in the comment section, so feel free to leave your opinion down there, but please keep it respectful, because I'm just like you trying to make this game a more fun experience for all of us. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as per usual, I'm asked you to do the things that every YouTuber always asks you to do. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and see you all next time. Bye bye!